This Saturday is the annual Race for the Cure Run and Walk in Sacramento. Thousands of people will be raising money for breast cancer research, screenings, treatment, and education. And KCRA is proud to be a presenting sponsor. Joining us live now to talk about where some of that money is spent is Dr. Gina Warren and breast cancer survivor Rhonda Smith, who also works on an initiative called Circle of Promise. They are part of a statewide effort to reach African American women specifically, and here's why. African American women are not more likely to get breast cancer. In fact, they're less likely, but they are 40% more likely to die of it. And in some cities here in California, it's even higher, 70% in Los Angeles. So Rhonda, let's start with you. You've been working on this initiative. Why is the death rate so much higher for black women?
Well, I think a lot of that is contributed to the fact that individual behavior really influences a woman's decision to not get a mammogram. I think there are a lot of cultural myths that exist in the African American community that get in the way of that.
Let's drill down on that. So what specifically may be happening here?
I think the fear of knowing the outcome of a mammogram and the whole cancer mentality, and I think the belief that cancer still equals death, and in some cases it's not always that. And so early detection can definitely save a life if a woman gets her annual mammogram and is diagnosed early.
You are proof of that, and I want to talk to you about that in a moment. But Dr. Warren, you have done this work in the Sacramento area, born and raised here. What have you seen as you've gone out into the community, offered free screenings? What's the response been?
Well, I wear two hats, one being a clinician and other being a resident of Del Paso Heights. And it's challenging because there's the lack of care from the clinician standpoint. And that's how the residents feel, is that there's not a trust there, and so they're hesitant to come in and get seen. And so even with the Sacramento chapter of the Links, we hosted a wellness expo with District 2 and with Grant High School. We offered 40 mammograms with Komen, and we got very low turnout. But we haven't given up, and we appreciate the fact that they came out to do the screening rather than just set up a table and offer pamphlets and information. There needs to be a connection with the people in the community, because just because they're in the low income doesn't mean they have less desire to be treated. They just have less resources and less understanding and trust. It's our responsibility as clinicians to come in and bridge that gap, and that's why the Links chapter, we worked closely with Grant High School and the residents of Del Paso Heights to try to give the information and build that trust.
Great. And one of the things that Gina touched upon is about access or lack thereof for women, and that also contributes to the gap in terms of survival rate for African American women compared to other women.
Well, let's talk about that directly. We are almost at the anniversary now, 7 years since you were diagnosed.
That's correct, yeah.
And today you just had a mammogram. You are healthy and out doing the work.
Yes.
The fear can only make the cancer worse. If you wait to catch it, it will only get worse. That's when it becomes what people fear, a death sentence. It is if you catch it in stage 4.
That is absolutely right. For a lot of African American women, they're diagnosed with what's called triple negative, which makes it more challenging to treat from the very beginning, regardless of the stage. And if a woman is avoiding getting a mammogram, and when she does have one, if she's a late stage diagnosis, you know, her chances of survival are compromised severely. So the earlier the better, and you know, it's important again to make sure that we get our annual mammograms.
Dr. Warren, the other fear I know is that what if they catch something, then what? How do I work? How do I take care of my family? How do I get treatment if I don't have insurance?
Absolutely. There's so much research and development that has changed over the course of decades, and the survival rate is so much better. There's a lot of support within even the healthcare community, as well as other non-healthcare environments that offer support to the women that are actually going through this, and actually the men as well. We don't want to forget that piece, but there's a lot of support that's available, and we want to walk them through this journey as if somebody, the analogy of having a baby, of having that care from the beginning all the way through.
Okay, so it is It is available.
Absolutely.
It's in this, it is in this community, and it is through a program called Circle of Promise. So Dr. Warren and Rhonda, thank you both for your time. And the Race for the Cure is this Saturday morning, May 9th at Cal Expo. You're hearing right now what some of that money goes toward: the screenings, the treatment, the education. It's a great event to be a part of it. You'll find a link to register under our community tab on kcra.com. And we also have a link on the KCRA mobile app. We'll see you out there on Saturday.
Thank you, ladies. All the best to you.